Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on our first webinar in 2024. Today's topic is very topical and it's something that I'm always trying to learn and develop on, and that's how to drive business growth with LinkedIn. So, LinkedIn is previously, when I was first using LinkedIn, it was mainly to get a job or get a promotion or get the next step in my career. Obviously, as I moved to entrepreneurship, it's been more about connecting with entrepreneurs, like minded people, trying to get some business from LinkedIn. And now a lot of companies are actually even using it for B2C. So selling products and services directly to the crowd on LinkedIn as well. My name is Rayhan Alim. I'm the managing partner and founder of Alpha Pro Partners. We're an accounting firm based in Dubai and we are Xero Platinum Partners. Very pleased to be joined by fellow Londoner Kieran Cassidy, who's the CEO of Trafficy. Just so you know, we'll be having Q&A at the end. So please write your questions on the comment sections below. Kieran, do you want to just give us a bit of instruction about yourself and about Trafficy and what you do, what great things that you do there?
Yeah. Thanks for having me. So basically, my name's Xero Cassidy. I'm head of growth at Trafficy. I've been doing sales and marketing for probably 15, 20 years now. We have offices in London and Dubai. I started LinkedIn pretty much around 2011. As you said before, it's very much about job searches and stuff like that. But it's evolved now into a tool for us to start getting business from. Started taking LinkedIn a bit more seriously around 18 months ago. I had around 3,000 followers. I've managed to push it up to around almost 20,000. So hopefully, I think I'm,
Nice.
I think I'm nearly 200 shy or 20 something shy. So hopefully after this, a few more people will follow me. One of you will be the 20,000th follower. So that's just a little bit about me. And hopefully I can, help you guys grow on LinkedIn and give you some valuable nuggets.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we would just do a quick overview of what we're going to do. We're obviously just going to talk about optimizing your LinkedIn profile, how to grow your network, the role of comments and replies, looking at analytics, and then we'll run through a little conclusions. Okay, so obviously, as I said, my story, I started taking LinkedIn a lot more seriously. I've gone from 3,000 to 20,000 followers in 18 months. How do we do that? The first thing we need to do is look at is profile optimization. So if we look at the profile optimization, so your profile optimization, obviously you need to think about attracting your audience. So if you want to start thinking about who is your target audience and what's your purpose, who do you want to reach out to and who do you want to help? So obviously the first thing with your profile audience, your optimization, sorry, is going to be your headline, your images, the basic features. Okay, so your basic features are obviously your profile picture, your cover photo, and your headline. So the most important thing here is obviously to get a nice profile picture. Mine's seems to be a little bit tongue in cheek, but I get a lot of people say how quirky it is. Your cover photo is obviously going to be who you are and what you do. How do you help people? And your headline. Your headline's really important. It needs to be clear and concise. Okay. Obviously, there's thousands and thousands of people on LinkedIn. So you need people to, when they see who you are, they know straight away, what do you do? How can you help them? So with your profile, make sure it's optimized and make sure that you can see you're grabbing someone's attention and how do you position yourself? So example, my one is obviously a no nonsense, experienced growth market. I drive business and help people basically make money online.
Would you say that with LinkedIn, that does it have an internal search function where when you're searching on LinkedIn, it helps with that as well?
Yeah. So yeah, people will go into that next. People, when you're searching for people, if you're looking for
Yeah.
heads, departments, etc., that's what's being picked up. So by LinkedIn. So obviously with me, I get a lot of people come looking for me because I'm CEO. Yeah, basically. Okay. And then you've got your advanced features. So there you can start talking about a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and how you do it. And there's also a featured section. So in the featured section, you want to put your best performing posts in there, maybe your newsletter, recommendations, anything that's going to set you apart from the rest of the crowd, if you like. Recommendations are really good. I find that if ever I want to talk to somebody or somebody wants to engage with me, I'll look at their recommendations. I'll look at their featured section. We've obviously got a newsletter in our featured section, and I find that helps grow the newsletter, which we use on a sort of bi-weekly basis to contact people. So make sure your featured section's up to date. Make sure your best performing posts are on there. Any nuggets you've got in there to help people discover who you are and what you do. Try and keep it really simple. Try and make it obvious as to what you do and how you can help people. There's billions of people, as I said, on LinkedIn, and it's very difficult you want to make sure that you're attracting people when they first look at you. So I often see profiles and I don't really understand who they are or what they're trying to do. To keep it simple, we need to make sure that people understand who we are and what we're doing. How can we help them? Obviously, LinkedIn is B2B. It's a business platform. So we're here to make money. We're here to help people make money. So but keep it really simple as to your positioning. So how do we do that? Okay, so we need to start thinking about expanding our audience. So by now, hopefully, we know who our audience is. We need to start inviting connections. Now you get around 25 connection requests a day, I think. This is about consistency. You need to be really consistent with inviting connections. So just be at it every day. This is no different to, I don't know, going to the gym. Yeah. It's about being consistent, turning up every day, reaching out, finding the right people, expanding your audience. Obviously, think about who do you want to speak to. If it's C levels, as I said, you get 25 connections a day. How do you go about getting those people to accept your request? You've got to remember when you're inviting connections, you need to craft your message. So as we said earlier, there's filters you can use when you're looking to reach out to someone. A lot of people nowadays, they're using automation, they're using chat GPT, AI to come up with automated messages. I wouldn't do that. If you've only got 25 a day, find people that you really know you can help and then craft your message to that crowd, to that particular person. So take your time. People understand when someone's taken the time to look at who they are and they appreciate that. So don't just automate your messages. Find the right person and play around with the messages. So when you're inviting connections, play around with the messages. Some people you might want to be a little bit playful with. Sometimes you might want to, I don't know, take the mickey out of yourself. Don't just, hello, here I am, give me your money, help me. You've got to just get them into your network first. And then obviously further down the line, when we talk about posting, then you can start engaging with these people. No one wants to just, don't go in for the kill when you're connecting with people. Don't just, hello, Rayhan, please give me some, let's first of all, build your network, build your audience. And then further down the line, when you start posting regularly, you're attracting people into your circle. Then they'll start taking a look at you. And then further, you can start talking about business and possibly making money out of them. So yeah, keep your
One,
messages personalized.
yeah, one of the things that I get, not frustrated, but I ignore is when I get like a super long message, I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't read this.
Delete. Delete. Yeah, that's it. It's just honestly, it's just about being to the point and maybe find one or two things. Sometimes people will say, "Oh, we went to the same college," or I noticed, as you said in the beginning, Rayhan, a fellow Londoner. Oh, I noticed that you're from London, you're from England, you're from Birmingham. Just don't. Hello, look at me. I've got a million things to tell you. I want to, as you say, delete. Just to the point, and then you're more likely to get accepted. You've only got 25-ish connection requests a day, so use them wisely.
What's your view on when you get those emails and messages and they're like, first thing they message you and they say, "Oh, have you done this? Have you done that?" And they try to bait you into responding. Those kind of messages, I don't really like. As soon as I get like a baity type message, I'm like, delete straight away. And then they follow back. They're like, oh, I know you're busy and you haven't responded back. Would you
Yeah.
like to respond? I just feel as if there's a more kind of classy way to follow up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't. I think that's automation though. So you know when you think, oh, and then you say, they go, oh, reach out, nothing. Then about 8 hours later, they say another thing. Then about 8 hours later, they say another thing. So that's all automated. So sometimes if you want to be a bit dark, you can just throw a little message in there, and they'll ignore it because it's all automated. So yeah, don't use automation tools. They don't work. If you want to really create meaningful partnerships or relationships, you've got to do the hard work. You've got to look at who do you want to speak to, find things that you've got in common. And otherwise, what's the point of reaching out to them? So
mm,
yeah, I get them messages all the time, and they're so obvious that they're automated. I think that I'm hoping LinkedIn will do something about that because it's getting a little bit of a spam fest, I feel.
yeah. Also in the inbox, they have like focus, and then they have almost like in Gmail where you have like different tabs for each inbox. They started doing that as well now.
Yeah, I think it's just easier to filter the good from the bad. You find a lot of the, paid stuff goes in the other now.
Uh,
It's more about LinkedIn ads, which is something we can cover, another time. But yeah, the as I say, if you wanna hit people's inboxes, you wanna don't go for the kill, don't be too long, be authentic, make sure that you're actually doing it. Do the hard work. You know, all of those is right hand, they're automated using software. And also you can get your account banned from that as well. Talking about posting, obviously we talked about how to connect with people. Once we've started connecting with people on a daily basis, we need to entertain and engage our audience. How do we do that? We write posts. We don't need to talk about what we had for breakfast. We want to find some posts that are meaningful. There's obviously a lot of people on LinkedIn. So you've got, again, there's a lot going on LinkedIn. So you need to write some posts that are going to engage your audience. And the main thing there is the hook. Now, the hook is obviously so important. It's the first part of your post. You need to format the hook in a way that's gonna grab someone's attention. So how do you do that? You use your value propositions. Statistics work really well. Some people might want to polarize their audience and ask some provocative questions. Others might use bold statements. A bold statement might be, I went from naught to 10,000 followers in a day. And people be like, what? And then obviously when they click on that hook, it will say, no, I didn't. No one ever did. So these are the types of things you got to be a bit creative with your hooks and try and again, grab your audience's attention. We were all on LinkedIn all the time. We all see so much. How do you get people to click on your hook? Well, obviously, once they click on your hook, you're then starting to get engagement. So again, keep it be a bit play around with it. Try out what's going to work. As I said, some people might be quite polarizing, go against the crowd. A lot of people talk about ChatGPT, for example, at the moment. Some people are all for it. Some people are all against it. So again, you can polarize opinions. We want to get some engagement here. We want people to take notice of what we've got to say, and no breakfast shots or stuff like that. So in your hooks. Obviously, the other part of the message
so
is formatting. It's good that we can format our posts now. It's not reading a book, or you can play around with how it visually appeals to people. We're humans. We're very visual. You mentioned earlier about if someone sends you this long-winded message, it's the same with posts. Because sometimes I read posts and there's so much value in the post, but it's not formatted properly. It doesn't look nice. And when
mm,
we just feel, because we feel overloaded with this big chunk of information. So you've got to make sure that the post looks visually appealing. How do you do that? You use line breaks, you use numbered lists. Just break it up, make it easy to digest, make it simple for people to understand. A big load of text, no matter how much information in there, people are just going to ignore it. So Again, keep it simple. Try and format your posts, make them appealing to the eye. There's some really good LinkedIn creators out there who do an amazing job of that. A lot of them are their engagements through the roof. It's not because just what they're saying, it's how they're saying it. Very, very important, very overlooked as well. A lot of people just, as I say, they're not putting the information in a decent format for people to read it. It's got to be easily digestible. So timings, when do you post? This is obviously I tend to post in the mornings, around between 9 and 10, as people are starting their day. Avoid posting in the evenings because obviously everyone's switched off and they want to enjoy their time with their families. That's quite an obvious one. Just make sure that if you can get in early, and then obviously what will happen is your post will stay on people's feeds and start to gain some traction. The next thing I think we'll speak about is frequency.
Just a question on this, right?
Mhm.
It's interesting because Instagram, TikTok, all of those platforms are all more on your phone only, right? Now, I know that a lot of people are using most people use LinkedIn on their phones as well. But the difference between LinkedIn and say Facebook or TikTok or Instagram is the fact that a large portion of that is browser based. So let's say you're working you work in an office and you get to the office, you switch on your PC or your laptop and you load up your emails, but then you also load up LinkedIn, right? So is that the behaviors of the typical LinkedIn person where because it's at like work time, they're literally viewing it on their browser as opposed to their phone, or is it they have it on their phone because they don't want their employees to see that they're on LinkedIn?
I
What
think
kind of behaviors do you see in terms of
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. You've just reminded me, I didn't say about the formatting as well. When you format your posts, you need to format your posts for desktop and mobile. So I've completely forgot about that. So as I said with the hooks, when you've done your post, check it on both,
Mm,
because if you don't, then the hook might not look right. Remember, we've got to try and get the hook and then people to click and then to read more. Yeah. But I think it's a mixture, really. I don't know the true figures on who's using the most desktop or mobile. I'd say it's probably heavily weighted to mobiles because of how we are. But there are still people that, yeah, they'll be logged in during the day. I know that anyway on my desktop. So I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. And I don't think you can look at analytics to get that information either. But
I remember that we did some analytics on our Google Ads at one point, and we found that not Google Ads, it was on our website, and we found that because we're obviously B2B, we actually have a lot of browser traffic as opposed to mobile traffic. But that's because we provide accounting services. So someone who's probably gone to the office or into their home laptop and they're looking for an accounting firm, they would then search on Google for
yeah,
one. But I
yes,
guess it's quite interesting because it's a different type of dynamic with LinkedIn, right? You have to think about both. Whereas if you're a lot of entrepreneurs are on Instagram, right? So everything's about mobile. They're
mhm.
not nothing's on the browser.
Yeah.
Um,
Instagram looks horrible on a browser. So I don't know if you've ever been on Instagram on a browser, but it just don't look right. But yeah, I don't, as I say, I'm going to have a look after it because I'm quite intrigued as to which one they use the most. But I do say that before you actually post, make sure you check it on your mobile and on your desktop. And yes, obviously post timings, it's pretty obvious.
yeah,
Frequency, this is really important. Frequency. I sometimes see people posting too much, or I sometimes see people that don't post at all. You've got to be consistent. Just post at least 3 times a week. Try and post daily. I know it's a big ask, and I know it's hard to get into that, but we'll see the rewards if you start posting daily. If you don't have time to do it, you can schedule your posts. So you can sit down on a Sunday, schedule your posts, and yeah, just try and honestly, it's just about consistency. And when I first started, I was posting to nobody. I'm still not posting to as many people as I'd like, and the engagement's still, we're still growing. We all are. That's what entrepreneurs are doing. They're trying to
Yeah.
grow their business, grow their audience, their engagement, but just be consistent. And if at first it's not working, stick with it because it will. You will be rewarded consistency. Again, like anything in life, if you want to go to the gym, you don't go once a month. You try and be consistent. The more you post, the more frequent you are, sorry, the better it's going to be. And don't overdo it. There's no need posting 3, 4 times a day. Otherwise, people will stop following you. They'll be like, oh, God, it's him again. But try and keep it, no, try and keep it frequent, just daily. Some people post during the weekends. Kudos to them. I'm playing golf, so I don't do that. But yeah, post frequently, but don't go overboard with it. Comments and replies. Okay, so yeah, obviously, while you're posting, you need to start thinking about, again, using comments to attract people. Remember, what we're trying to do is we're trying to attract people into our audience and then to get them to connect with us. Some people would comment on thought leaders posts, which I think is a really effective way of getting other people that don't know you yet to start discovering you. So think about some industry leaders that in your industry, some thought leaders, and start following them, ding their bell, as they say. And then as soon as they're posting, comment on their post. What do you want to say in their posts? Provide value. If someone's talking about, I don't know, like you was just talking about your Google Analytics, and you said something about, we noticed that we get a lot of people come on on the desktops. Okay, provide values. Ask a question. Okay, is that because you're running your Google ads based on desktop only? To just come to the party and say something that's not Chat GPT or AI. Say something, be authentic, think about the question, and then just get involved in the conversation. I'll give you an example. As I think I commented on a post once. I think it was Neil Patel, who's like a SEO guru, and he said something about SEO. I can't remember what it was. It was quite a while back now, but so I commented on that post, and then a few days later, I got a DM from a guy who's been trying to build a brand, an MMA brand. He's been trying for quite a while, and he's not made a really good job of it. And just from that comment of me saying something insightful, he's gone away. He's looked at who I am. He's then started obviously looking at what I've been writing previously, looked at my position, obviously, and he's reached out to me. So they're quick wins, they're little nuggets. And again, if you're providing value, it's going to work for you. If you've got something of value and people are finding that value, they're going to reach out to you. They might not reach out straight away, but they will reach out to you. Find people that are in yours that you need, that you feel are in the same space as you, and comment on their posts. And again, this is how you build meaningful relationships, cross pollinate audiences. That's what I was trying to get to there. So just if you've got if for example you're a content creator, go and follow some of the big boys, Yasmin Alic, people like that. They're going to put content out. You can get onto there, start cross pollinating audiences, get involved with them, with comments as well. When people start commenting on your post, make sure that you respond within 30 to 60 minutes. Sometimes some of the really big guys, they don't respond, but they can't because they've got hundreds of thousands of comments. But if you're on this webinar, I doubt you've got hundreds of thousands of got comments to answer. So make sure you answer people's comments in a relative time. Don't leave them hanging. It's the same as you wouldn't, if someone speaks to you, don't ignore them. So don't ignore them on LinkedIn. It's the same principle. Okay, so then obviously the results. So again, we touched on analytics. I'm going to go away and look at the desktop mobile thing, but I don't think there is anything. And monitor the performance of how you're doing. We sometimes help companies or business owners run their LinkedIn forums. So what we do is we'll put a mark in the sand first. How many followers have they got? What type of engagement have they got? When do they post? How often? All the things that we've gone through. And then what we do is obviously we monitor it. So LinkedIn's got like a handy analytics tool there, so we can go in and look at the engagement of the post, what seemed to work, what resonated with people. Again, the hooks are really important. You start finding things that are working to get that engagement. There are third party tools as well, but for now, Tin gives you enough. So yeah, constantly looking at ways to improve upon what you've been doing. Sometimes you might find, as I said, a polarizing post might do well, the hook might do well, or just keep an eye on what you're doing and see what sort of feedback you're getting on those posts. Okay, yeah, and as I said earlier, does it really work? Yes, it does. If you once you build your audience and you're regularly posting and everything else, you'll start getting the leads coming into you. Again, this is about the game's changed. Sales and marketing's changed now. It's about finding you, seeking out your services, and they'll start coming into your DMs now. How long does it take? It's going to take you a few months. It doesn't happen overnight, but once you do start, if you do follow this information, this advice, they will start reaching out to you and asking you for your help. Remember that sales and marketing used to be about outreach, spamming people, picking up the phones. It's not anymore. No one wants to be bothered with 1,000 emails, 1,000 phone calls. I don't even open my emails anymore unless they're from people I know, unfortunately, which is, and the same with the phone. Like the phone rings, don't answer it. I Google the number. So this is about building leads that come to you and attracting people to you and do it. This is how you do that, by basically creating an authority, building a network, providing good value, and then let the leads come to you. So that's more or less it. As I said, I've nearly got 20,000. So follow me, engage with my posts, subscribe to the newsletter, which I also started building at the same time as me taking this seriously. I think we're up to 3,500 people now in the newsletter. And also, obviously, reach out for any advice. If I can help anybody, give them any more nuggets, then I'll be happy to do. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for that, for your insights and your expertise. So, in terms of people reaching out to you, obviously they can find you on LinkedIn, right? And they will DM you, but they'll say, "I saw you on this webinar," and then they'll message you, and then you respond back straight away, right? As
Yes.
opposed to trying to
Don't leave people hanging. No, it's not. It's not nice. No, it's rude. Yeah, obviously, I did reach out to a lot of people before this webinar started. Tried to connect with them just to show that I appreciate them coming in their time. Obviously, everybody's busy, so I wanted to show gratitude for them to come in. And obviously, I wanted, as I say, they obviously are looking for help with their LinkedIn. So any way I can help them, I'm more than happy to do.
Oh, great. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to be a bit selfish like that. LinkedIn Sales Navigator. We as an organization, we dipped our toes into it. What kind of advice can you give? You've obviously spoken about building your building your network within LinkedIn, putting out comments, doing posts, reaching out to meaningful people you can give value in DMs. What kind of, you know, uh, how can Sales Navigator help us as well? Does it work with in the same way that you mentioned as well?
It can do. I've got Sales Navigator and I do use it because it's there's a few more things you can do with it in terms of filters, creating accounts, building up leads and stuff like that. So it does. It's. I'll be honest with you. If you're going to use it, you're probably better off jumping on some courses with it first because the user experience isn't amazing. So it's quite you first and foremost, you need to understand the basics of it. So I do use it for things, as I say, like creating better filters. If I want to, for example, if I want to reach out to somebody, I'll use the last 30 days filter, which is have they been active on the last 30 days on LinkedIn? Which, if they haven't, what's the point of reaching out to them? 'Cause obviously, they're not very active. So there's things like that with Sales Navigator. But if you do use it, I'd strongly suggest if you've got that, then you can start doing courses, which I think are included with Sales Navigator. If you've got that level, then LinkedIn provide loads of different courses on how to use it. I do use it, but it is quite fiddly and it does take some time to get used to.
No, thanks for that. The other question I have is this is more of a LinkedIn competitor kind of question. So obviously you've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, Instagram, and all these platforms there seems to be a competitor every 3 years with these new platforms, or they bring in new features that they'll compete against.
Mm.
LinkedIn has been on its own for quite some time. Is
Yeah.
there other platforms that you think are similar to it or growing, or
I haven't
link?
seen anything. I think it's such a successful platform now. As you said, the way it's evolved, it used to be more about recruitment, finding jobs. It's just, but for me, it's phenomenal. I'm amazed how many people, especially in the UK, who don't use LinkedIn properly. I can't believe they're not. It's just such a wonderful tool. It's just, where else can you start speaking to CMOs and CFOs? You can't. It's just, I said, no, I don't know anything that's getting anywhere close to it. Another thing I wanted to point out, I forgot to mention, you can steal your audiences as well. And what I mean by that is, sorry, you can steal other, you can steal other people's audiences as well. So you can literally go in, find somebody who's got a really good audience that's similar to the audience that you are looking to appeal to, and you can start reaching out and connecting to them. So that's another really, I forgot to mention that, Rayhan. It's another little nugget of information there. So if, for example, you see another company that seems to be doing really well, or another person that's doing really well, you can go and have a look at who's following them and then reach out to them as well. Obviously, again, tailor your message. Don't make it completely obvious. The reason you want to connect with them is just to steal their business or whatever it be. Just nice informal message, and then get them into your audience, and then just start posting regularly to them.
Thank you for that. I'm just going to read through some of the Q&As now. So I got a question from a person called Omar. He's asking, I would know what is exactly to do or check before start posting campaigns on LinkedIn. What's the best use for LinkedIn campaigns to reach B2C, B2B? I think what he's trying to ask is what kind of things should you be doing before you make a post? And I guess for LinkedIn, we've said it's B2B. I've seen people start using it for B2C now. I guess you're in the B2B camp at the moment.
Yeah, I'm in the B2B camp. I do see a lot of B2C stuff of late. I see. Obviously, it's good. You need to keep it updated, but does it work for B2C? I think B2C will. I think they'll be doing B2C on LinkedIn, the companies, but their growth's going to be through other mediums like Google AdWords and Meta, stuff like that. They're probably, what they're doing is they're just making sure that if they're using those platforms, they're keeping these platforms up to date as well. So I work with a few companies, or I help a few companies where they're B2C, and they'll just keep their LinkedIn up to date. Does it work for ROAS? Not when you're looking at the costs, because people don't really tend to look too much at what B2Cs are doing. Sorry, what company pages are doing on LinkedIn. They're more interested in what people are doing. B2C, I think it's all about Google and Meta and stuff like that. You can run ads on LinkedIn for B2C, but they're double expensive. I'd like to talk about that, but I don't think we've got time. But LinkedIn ads is another thing that we should have probably covered earlier.
That's probably for another session. One more question. There's another gentleman called Noor who's asked a question about for new brands, which is your suggestion for B2B? So I think what he's trying to ask is, if you're a new company, a new brand, what kind of advice would you give to grow quite quickly in terms of your presence?
I'd use a personal profile to build a brand. You see a lot of people are interested in brands, but they're far more interested in the people who are running that brand. So if I was starting a brand, I would pin it. I would use my own I'd use me as the ambassador for the brand. A good example would be we work with Tony Calamita, who owns or CEO of Love Hemp. So we push the CEO because the CEO is going to talk about the brand. People are interested in people rather than the brand. So another example would be Stephen Bartlett, for example. Yeah. So on LinkedIn, it's all about if you want to promote your brand, be the brand ambassador. If you want to talk about if your company promotes wellness, then obviously be the brand ambassador for wellness. And then, yeah, if you want to grow a brand on LinkedIn, use yourself or the CEO or stakeholders as the brand, as build to build the brand. Sorry.
Cool. No, thank you for that. We've got a few more questions, but I think we'll wrap it up now, and we can contact you on LinkedIn for any other questions that we may have.
Yeah, yeah. As I say, follow me, connect. I'll connect straight back with whoever wants to. We've also got the newsletter. The newsletter is a bi-weekly newsletter. It's not just around LinkedIn. It's more around. It's called Marketing with Meaning, and it's basically it's around the nuances of marketing and how market ideas around marketing, how marketing has evolved and fused with sales. Now, I think it's a great read. We put a lot of time and effort into it. It's growing. It's as I say, I think we've got over 3,500 subscribers now. So yeah, if anybody wants to jump on that, get involved whenever we launch a new idea, a new concept, whatever it is, just get involved in it, comment, and then obviously again the people that are in our network will start seeing your comments and start following you.
Cool. No, Kieran, thank you very much for your time.